So, hello everyone, and thank you all very much for joining us today. I'm with Dr. Ocker here from Live Blood Online and Neogenesis Systems, our training course tutor. And today, Dr. Ocker is going to show you some of the benefits of live blood analysis, and then we'll have a question and answer session afterwards. So, I'm going to be handing you over to Dr. Ocker now, and we'll be speaking with you later. So, handing over to you, Dr. Ocker.
All right, fantastic. And thank you everyone for joining us for this session. I just need to get sharing enabled there from your side, it seems, Elizabeth. We have an interesting slideshow saying some of the benefits of live blood analysis, as well as some of the typical responses that we see with clients after, before and after treatment. So to kind of illustrate what we typically work with live blood analysis and the types of things that we normally see.
Okay, wonderful.
All right, so it looks like I'm good to go here. So you should be able to see my screen. All right, fantastic. Right, so let's get started right away. We'll just have a look at some examples and we'll go through the benefits. All right, I think if there are any attendees with their microphones on, if we can just ask that they're muted so that we don't have feedback or anything else during
Yes,
the presentation. But questions, please feel free to ask them. There is a chat function on Zoom, which is the best place to enter your questions.
thank you. Yeah, I did mute everybody, but it seems that not everyone's been muted. So, yeah, please continue.
All right, fantastic, no problem. So let's get started right away. So these are just some examples of things we typically see in live blood analysis. Now, with live blood analysis, we actually, although it's referred to as live blood analysis, we actually work with two separate samples. The first one is actually the live sample that's prepared from a drop of blood that's placed on a slide with a little cover slip on top of it. And that's viewed while the blood is still alive. We view the sample without adding anything to it. And it's viewed at very high magnification with a specialized microscope, where we have two types of views that we really look at. The first being bright field, which is the image on the top left-hand side there. And then those two images with a very dark background, those are taken in dark field. So dark field is also one of the techniques used for live blood analysis, and very, very important with live blood analysis, because there's a whole host of anomalies that we're able to see only in dark field that actually doesn't show up at all in bright field. So very valuable, and we'll have a look at a few examples in this presentation to see what type of things we typically see. And then there's another test called dried blood analysis, or the oxidative stress test. And that's the image on the lower right-hand side there. You can see it looks quite different from the other images. None of these, by the way, are examples of normal blood. All of these are quite abnormal. And we cover all of this, the interpretation, all the implications, and whatever corrective measures need to be put in place to deal with all of the anomalies that we detect in live and dry blood analysis in the training course materials. But very interesting, the dry blood test is also prepared from the same pinprick from the finger. Another drop of blood is then taken after preparing the live sample, and that's prepared in a different way, where the blood is then allowed to dry on the slide, and that's viewed at a low magnification, where we actually look at the patterns that emerge when the blood dries and clots on the slide. Now, there are many benefits in live blood analysis, both for the practitioner and for their clients. It is a tool that's really ideally suited to any type of natural health type of practice. So any practice where any form of natural healing is used, live blood analysis works extremely well within that practice, and mainly because it allows the same type of parameters, the same anomalies or imbalances that you would work with in a naturopathic type of practice. As a practitioner, you're able to actually track and measure those metrics. Conventional blood tests are unfortunately very limited in terms of what it can tell us for prevention. And when we're working with things like inflammation, toxicity, microbial imbalance, whatever's going on in the terrain at the cellular level, those conventional blood tests are very, very little use. Live blood analysis really allows us to see what's going on at the cellular level in real time. We can see changes taking place as a result of treatment in real time as well, so we can actually track progress during treatment. So we can go through these quite quickly. The benefits to the practitioner here in identifying root causes. We're actually able to work out where symptoms are coming from. So instead of just dealing with symptoms and working at relieving symptoms through various supplements, we can actually look at what is presenting in the blood and work out where the main cause, the sort of underlying cause of the client's condition is actually coming from, and we can work with those patterns specifically. Often there are things in the background that the practitioner has, who would have no idea about and wouldn't even consider testing for. And we can see that very, very clearly just by simply looking at the live blood sample. In being able to work out what's actually going on, we can tailor specific treatment that's really appropriate and ideally suited to that specific case. And the visual aspect of it, it is a very visual type of test. As you can see in the screen behind me, the client actually sees their blood live on the screen during the analysis. The practitioner then explains all the imbalances or anomalies to them, and especially how it pertains to their health and symptoms. And that really has a strong motivating effect on the clients. It's a very different dynamic from just seeing some numbers on a report, or being told by a doctor that some number is out of balance. It's very visual, has a very strong impact, and people actually have an emotional connection to their blood. So seeing their ailing blood cells on the screen really helps to motivate them to make the necessary changes, often almost a wake-up call for them to start making changes to their health. And of course, it is difficult. It is a struggle for people to make those types of changes. So live blood analysis really is extremely valuable in providing the necessary motivation for people to start making those changes. And as I said, you can see the changes taking place in real time, so you can actually implement a treatment strategy and after some time test again and see, based on the changes that have occurred, you can assess whether the treatment has actually been appropriate for the client and whether there's been a positive response. And this is especially helpful in chronic cases where people are on conventional medicines and have a whole range of symptoms and complications as a result of treatment. It becomes quite difficult to pass what is really going on in the case and what you should be focusing on. With live blood analysis, we're really able to do that, and then we can see changes taking place, positive changes taking place at the cellular level, often before symptoms really start to shift. So, in many cases, those clients would be lost because they're not really feeling a difference yet, and they would go and try something else. Whereas with live blood analysis, we can show them that there is actually a substantial change taking place and there's a noticeable improvement. And if they persevere and continue with the treatment protocols, then they actually start seeing improvements in the symptoms as well. Right. Benefits for the clients, very similar to what we've discussed already, being able to actually see what's going on, so have a clear understanding of what's going on with their health. Often clients come in for live blood analysis that have been for a whole host of conventional tests and investigations. They're told that everything there is normal, and yet they still have symptoms and they're not really enjoying optimal health. With live blood analysis, we're able to identify those underlying imbalances. Because live blood analysis is more sensitive than conventional tests, we can often detect imbalances long before conventional tests would show anything. And we know in natural medicine as well that there is usually a long history of imbalance where things are just subclinical. So when those clients are tested, even though they have symptoms, conventional tests are unable to detect any abnormality. So with live blood analysis, we're able to work out where things are coming from in those cases and implement fairly simple naturopathic type of treatment strategies to address those symptoms and correct the condition. All right. And also very important under those points is accountability and commitment. It actually helps to educate clients and get them to realize that at the end of the day, the responsibility is it's up to them. Their health is in their own hands. They shouldn't be placing that responsibility, in the hands of their medical practitioner. To look after their health is their responsibility. So we can actually show them the impact of dietary and lifestyle choices, how it's affected their health, and they actually it clicks for them. Often they understand that, oh, this is actually where things are coming from, and if I make these changes, things would be better. And then we can actually show them how things improve. There's not just only an improvement in their symptoms, but they can actually see a substantial improvement in the way that their blood looks when it's actually analyzed. All right, so let's go through some examples of what we typically see in practice. This is just before and after treatment. A few of the patients from my own practice. So an example of a 46-year-old female with a chronic digestive condition, and some images from before and after treatment. Now, for most of you wouldn't be aware of what we typically would want to see in a healthy blood sample, but the images on the right-hand side there after treatment are quite good examples of what we normally aim for. You can see the differences there very clearly. The little cells on the right-hand side are lying on their own. They're all nice and round, all about the same size and shape, whereas it's a very different picture on the left-hand side where we have cells stuck together forming these long chains of overlapping cells. And then the dark field images at the bottom, we can see those white lines, almost like a spider web in the plasma, related to liver stress and often related to toxicity as well. And of course, because fibrin helps with blood coagulation. If we see lots of activated fibrin in the blood, it actually increases viscosity of the blood, makes it more difficult for the heart to circulate the blood. And in chronic conditions, this is really a major challenge.
So the pictures on the left, where all the blood cells are stuck together, wouldn't that cause a lack of oxygen from not being able to release oxygen?
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's a major symptom. Often people struggle with energy levels, fatigue as a result of this. Um, the oxygen exchange or gas exchange takes place at the cellular level and at the capillary level. So usually these red blood cells pass through these capillaries in single file. When they are stuck together like this, it really becomes a lot more difficult for oxygen exchange. So, just simply as a result of the stickiness of the cells, there's an issue with oxygen exchange, and yeah, fatigue is a very common symptom as a result of that. So when we're able to restore the negative electrical charge, the zeta potential on the surface of the red blood cells, they naturally repel each other again like they actually normally should. And when those cells separate, people immediately feel an improvement in their energy levels.
Because that's something you see a lot of, right?
Absolutely. Sadly, it is one of the common findings. It is related to the diet and digestive health. As we know, in natural medicine, many conditions actually originate from the digestive system. It really is a key factor in the development of chronic diseases. And yeah, the overlapping of the cells here called rouleau is mainly related to digestive imbalance, and most cases in practice also dietary choices.
So mainly caused by diet and can be helped through diet, yes?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So also that's a great point because we in natural medicine and definitely in life blood analysis as well, we don't really work with quick fixes, although we work with supplements to help to support certain processes in the body and to address some of the anomalies seen in the blood. It's never done in isolation. It's always done with changes in diet and lifestyle as well, appropriate, to what we've actually seen in the blood. So, we always work on working more with achieving long-term results. And to ensure long-term results, really, we need to work with the causes. And in many cases, that has to do with the diet and lifestyle.
Okay, thank you. And so the courses and the protocols are included in the training course, aren't they?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So under each of the anomalies that we cover in the training course, we discuss interventions, symptoms, the medical perspective, and even further tests and investigations that may be needed in those cases. So the same client with a digestive condition, just a few examples as well. Again, the dark field image there with the overlapping of the blood cells and those white lines of fibrin in between. And then the dry blood sample below that, very interesting pattern there. We refer to that image on the lower left-hand side as a bowel pattern and very much indicative of inflammation taking place in the digestive system. So very appropriate and ties in very well with the client's case history. We can see the changes taking place on the right-hand side there. Really encouraging for clients to see this. They can actually see that things are shifting, and it really reinforces, what we've told them in terms of dietary and lifestyle changes. All right, just another example here from practice, a male client with a cardiovascular condition. This client was actually on conventional medicine as well to help address the cardiovascular issue, and yet we can see quite a lot of indicators here that relate to cardiovascular health. The image on the top left-hand side here, the large structure in the center there, those are actually thrombocytes or platelets, and normally they should be lying on their own. So this image on the lower right-hand side, we can see those small gray structures. Those are actually the thrombocytes, and they should actually lie on their own like that as individual thrombocytes. On the left, we can see that they're all grouped together in one big sort of bunch of thrombocytes. That thrombocyte aggregation will always look at the size of the group compared to the red blood cells. The larger the group, the more it has negative implications, for cardiovascular health. So quite worrying to see this in this type of client, and something that we really then focus on in terms of treatment as well. So we can see on the right-hand side how this pattern is cleared up very, very nicely. Right, same client, just with some more examples. So there's thrombocyte aggregation there in dark field as well. And the dry blood image, the lower left-hand side there, towards the center of that image is something that we refer to as blistering. It actually looks like an area of the dry blood is bulging up almost like a blister. And that is also connected to the risk of heart disease. It's a cardiovascular indicator. So seeing those large groups of aggregated thrombocytes along with a pattern of blistering in the dry blood really would place a lot of importance on dealing with cardiovascular health and mitigating those risks. All right, and then one more example. This is a 65-year-old female, many conditions that were diagnosed, more of a chronic case. She was on a bunch of conventional medicines as well. Some interesting patterns there, those strange shapes on the red blood cells on the image on the top left there are referred to as cloud patterns. They're usually related to inflammation, so showing that there's inflammation in the body. We're not able to say which specific organ. Often it is a sort of a underlying inflammation that's connected to how chronic diseases develop according to functional medicine as well. The image just below that is a uric acid crystal, and if there's an issue with the pH, that usually drives inflammation in the system. All right, so we can see everything looking a lot better there on the right-hand side. All right, and then the dry blood images here, very interesting in this case in dry blood analysis by looking at how many white areas form in the dry blood sample. We can see all those white areas on the top left-hand side there. If they are large and irregular and interconnected, that's usually connected to the risk of degeneration. So we're actually able to assess quite easily by looking at the dry blood sample what a client's sort of risk of degenerative conditions is. And, if we're seeing that, then it also means that those clients would be treated slightly differently. The protocols would be slightly different from someone who doesn't present with these types of patterns. All right, so we can see improvement in the images on the right-hand side there as well. Really very encouraging for these types of clients to see this. Often people get quite shocked when they see the condition of their blood. They're quite worried about what's going on, and they really immediately want to know what they should be doing to address it and to help fix the appearance of their cells, and to then actually see that change taking place as a result of treatment and the changes that they've implemented in their diet and lifestyle really is extremely encouraging for people. All right, so just some information on where to go if you are interested in learning more, but we will cover this during the lesson or during this presentation as well. We'll share the details in later on as well. So perhaps if we can go over to any questions that there might be, Elizabeth.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Very interesting and very visual.
Thank you.
We do have some questions that have been sent in by inquiries that are not able to be at the meeting today. But I think you've actually answered most of them. In fact, you've already answered what health issues can be detected with live blood analysis. Another question is, can live blood analysis help with prevention before a condition becomes serious?
Yes, absolutely, it can. And, in many cases, by the time a condition shows up on conventional testing, it's already at quite a late stage. And something that's often used in conventional medicine and referred to as a kind of preventative strategy is having a regular blood sugar test done. And if you actually look at what is being measured in a blood sugar test, it really isn't part of a preventative strategy. It really cannot be, because once your blood sugar level becomes abnormal, it's already at quite a late stage, and you should really have implemented various changes and interventions long before getting an abnormal blood sugar reading. So live blood analysis allows us to detect imbalances at a far earlier stage than conventional testing. And we're able then through natural medicine then to address those changes or those imbalances and actually reverse those imbalances and prevent the onset of a condition or some type of diagnosis. It's also helpful in addressing cases or assisting cases where a diagnosis has already been made by looking at the imbalances at the cellular level and addressing those. And that actually allows the body then to heal itself. It allows the body to start making changes, and we then see improvements in those conditions, whatever the medical conditions are that the person has been diagnosed with. Something else to mention, just with what can be detected with live blood analysis, is just to clarify that it isn't used as a medical diagnostic test. We're not really able to diagnose medical conditions based on what we're seeing in live blood analysis. There are certain red flags that would show up that would raise suspicion of some sort of underlying medical condition. But even in those cases, to make the actual diagnosis, one would still need to refer for conventional testing, to actually diagnose this condition. But the diagnosis of disease isn't really the strength of where the strength of live blood analysis lies. It's more in being able to work out the underlying causes, what imbalances at the cellular level have actually facilitated the development of a medical disease. And in addressing those, we're then able to help clients a great deal.
Thank you. Yeah, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat box at the bottom of the screen. And if you'd like to be unmuted to ask a question to Dr. Ocker, then please just let us know. Thank you. Yes, so does live blood analysis help practitioners identify issues visually?
Yes, absolutely it does. And the visual impact that it has is, of course, one very important aspect in practice, that it actually helps to motivate clients and keep them also more compliant during the course of treatment. But the visual aspect is also extremely helpful for practitioners. It is a screening type of test, so we scanning through the blood sample and assessing everything visually. So whatever is there, whatever is going on in the blood, the practitioner will see. So it's extremely helpful because in many cases, one would pick up indicators for things that even as experienced practitioners, you wouldn't always consider in those specific cases. Often we see signs of microbial imbalance, things like parasites, things like candida, L-form bacteria or cell wall deficient bacteria, often in cases where that wouldn't really be suspected as the underlying cause. So, to be able to actually see what's going on at the cellular level, to get that sort of window into, the biological terrain really, really helps. We're able to see what we should be working on in every case to achieve, great results.
Thank you. And how often should clients return for follow-up live blood analysis?
Well, generally we follow up at sort of a 4-week interval. So clients are given specific recommendations to follow for a month, and they're then tested again. There are some changes that take place at a much earlier stage, and we can even show clients, especially when there's a lot of aggregation, when the blood's really in quite a bad state, simply by giving the client a high dose of ionic minerals, we actually can see the cells separating within about 15 minutes. So there are some changes that take place quite quickly, but in most cases, the time frame is about every 4 weeks, which allows the system to start making changes and for those changes to take effect, and then for us to retest to work out, what the next step in treatment needs to be.
Thank you. Have you worked with patients struggling with cognitive decline? Are there any patterns of dysfunction in blood analysis?
Yes, absolutely. And often related to circulatory health, often related to the liver. There's often deficiencies as well that we address, mineral deficiencies. The dry blood is extremely helpful there as well. I've seen cases with that were connected to liver fluke infestations. So, this is also what live blood analysis really helps one with, is that you guided by what you're actually seeing in the blood in terms of treatment. So, it takes the guesswork out of working with clients. You can actually look at objectively at what's going on in the blood and work with those indicators. And even in cases where what you're seeing doesn't seem to be directly related to the medical condition that the client is struggling with, if we work with those imbalances, we start seeing improvements in their symptoms.
Thank you. And is there a detox protocol included, and what results are usually seen?
Well, yes, detoxification is very, very important in natural medicine and certainly in live blood analysis as well. And there's a wide range of anomalies related to toxicity that we can see in both live blood and dry blood samples. So it is something that we work with quite regularly. We work with specific herbal formulations to support the organs of elimination, and of course, a specific detox protocol. So that is included as part of the course materials. There are specific diets and dietary guidelines that attendees can download and make use of in practice. And under the anomalies that are related to toxicity in the training materials, we include a detox protocol, which doesn't just include the diet, but other nutraceuticals as well. And of course, optimal water intake is extremely important. So there is a specific formula provided in the course materials to ensure that clients get optimal water intake when they are undergoing a detox.
Thank you. And could live blood analysis replace other tests like mold, heavy metals, and parasites?
Well, often it does. One of the limitations of live blood analysis is that we're not able to see what type of metal it is. So we can see signs of heavy metal toxicity. We can see signs of mold. We can see signs of viral or bacterial infection or parasitic infection. But based on the appearance alone, we can't really say which type of metal or microorganism it is. Um, the benefit though with the types of products that we work with in natural medicine is that they often address everything. So being able to identify the specific metal, for example, isn't always necessary because chelation therapy would clear those metals anyway. But in cases where you need to find that out, then one would still need to go for further tests to actually detect those specific metals or microbes.
Okay. And the live blood analysis can reveal dehydration. Is that right? Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. So it's actually one of the common factors when we're seeing negative signs or patterns in the blood. Water intake is extremely important. And I've seen this myself in my own practice, where clients are, following a very, very healthy lifestyle, often people that are really proactive about their health and quite fit when they are exercising and training and the water intake is not optimal, we can see those indicators very clearly in the blood.
Okay, thank you. And so is live blood analysis a medical test? And who can use it?
Well, no, it's not really a medical test. It's medical practitioners really work more with diagnosing medical diseases. Their focus is really to be able to work out what the medical diagnosis is in a case, so they can prescribe a specific prescription medicine, to help with that specific medical condition. Live blood analysis is not really utilized that way. Some medical practitioners, especially those working more with functional medicine, do make use of live blood analysis. In those cases, the test does help to narrow down the list of other investigations that need to be done to come to a diagnosis. But those other investigations still need to be done in those cases to make a diagnosis. So it's not a medical test. It's mainly used by practitioners in the field of natural health and nutrition. And the indicators, the type of imbalances that we see are imbalances that are recognized in the field of natural health and nutrition. And then the type of interventions that we use, the specific treatment protocols are also completely natural, nutraceutical supplements, specific dietary and lifestyle changes.
And
So
can,
also,
sorry, go
so
on.
just to expand on that. So it's not limited then to medical practitioners. Anyone involved in the field of natural health can make use of live blood analysis.
And can the test results be recorded to be analysed at a later time?
Yes, it is possible. So the microscope is connected to, there's a camera connected to the microscope, which is connected to a computer. There's a software program that then allows you to view the live video feed from the microscope on your screen. And within the software, you're then able to also record video clips and take still images. And that is usually the norm during any type of live blood consultation, is that the practitioner would take still images and perhaps a few video clips of what they're seeing in the blood for record keeping purposes, because when clients come back for their follow-up, we always recommend that they are shown the images of the previous test before so we're actually able to assess and look for change and improvement. So yes, it is possible to do that. In most cases, the results are discussed with the client while they are there in the appointment. The images or the video is displayed on the screen. The client can see, and very similar to the setup behind me, we also have wall charts that are usually placed on the wall where clients can see what is going on in their blood on the screen, and they can compare to the images on the wall charts, and that also just adds more credibility. It's not the case that the practitioner is making things up as they're going along. They can see that there's evidence of these things being observed, and that they're connected to those specific anomalies or imbalances rather.
Thank you. And do you supply microscopes? And are they difficult to set up?
Yes, we do supply microscopes, and that is out of necessity, really, because microscopes that are available commercially just don't have the necessary features for dark field microscopy. To use dark field to analyze live blood samples, the microscope needs to have a very specific set of features. And because dark field microscopy is such a niche type of application, most microscope manufacturers don't actually produce good quality dark field systems with all the necessary requirements. So as a result of that, we've had our microscopes manufactured according to our own specifications to ensure that everything that should be there in the microscope is actually there. So we do supply these to our course attendees. We ship all over the world, and setup is really quite simple. We ship with full instructions, and we also have video instructions as well that people can follow along step by step, basically to set up the microscope and to get it working.
Thank you. And can live blood analysis show issues related to EMF exposure, electromagnetic frequency exposure?
Yes, it can, and it is often used to, conduct research in those fields, and especially with clients that have sensitivity to EMF. It's often used to establish what the underlying issue is, to work out, what actually needs to be done, and to monitor their response during treatment as well. There are a number of patterns related to that we can see in the blood, and those can then be used to track progress during treatment.
Thank you. Do you ship microscopes internationally, and can students use their own microscopes?
Yes, absolutely. So we do ship internationally to all locations. We use DHL, usually about a 3 to 5 day lead time once the microscope has been shipped from our offices. And it is also possible, it's not necessary that our microscopes are used exclusively for the course. So if you already have a microscope, you will be able to enroll in the training and complete the course with your own microscope. We will obviously advise based on the type of images that we see, which we usually would then see in your case study that's being submitted. So if the microscope doesn't really produce the type of images that we want to see in dark field, especially in dark field, we need a high degree of contrast to actually see all the small fine structures between the cells. So if your microscope is lacking, it won't affect your ability to complete the course, but we will definitely recommend that you consider upgrading to a proper dark field microscope before using this in practice to see paying clients. The reason being that there's so many anomalies that are only really seen in dark field that don't show up at all in bright field. And if you don't have a proper dark field system, you simply won't know that those anomalies are there. So, for that reason, if you're unable to see those anomalies, it really will affect your results in practice.
Thank you. Is it possible to detect microplastics in the blood? Does it have a unique shape or appearance?
Well, that's a field of ongoing research at the moment. We are looking at specific patterns, and there will be some information that will be included in the training course in the near future. That is something that is an issue that is becoming more prevalent these days, and definitely something that's being developed for inclusion into the course.
And you might have already answered this question. Why is it important to choose the right microscope?
Well, the main factor there is dark field. If your microscope does not have the correct features for dark field, and just briefly, the first and most important thing to check would be the strength of the light source. You would need at least 100-watt halogen in terms of brightness, or the equivalent in LED, to produce the necessary level of brightness to create that high type of contrast image that we need to get in dark field. So it is a very, very important factor.
Yes, absolutely. And we have a question not quite relevant to the other questions. I've taken the course with someone before and I have all the course materials, but I've never been certified. It's important to me to be certified now. I'm wondering if this might be a possibility with Live Blood Online and Neogenesis systems.
Well, definitely, if you enroll in the course and complete the course materials, we provide certification at the end, but not really if you've gone through another training institute. And the reason for that is because the course that we have is very, very comprehensive. We've actually included the schools of thought, all the schools of thought in live blood analysis. It's extremely detailed and very comprehensive. We've had many attendees on the course previously who enrolled after having done other live blood training, and they said that they learned a lot more. It filled in so many gaps and actually gave them more of an understanding of what they should actually be looking at and working with in live and dry blood. So we're not able to certify based on previous training because it won't really be up to the standard that we have in this course.
Okay, and another question. I recently completed a course, but I'm debating taking yours to broaden my knowledge. I'm wondering what type of course material we receive. Is there a lot of info that we can refer back to when doing the analysis with photos, etc.? I find I'm not currently able to pick things out really quickly. Maybe that will just come with more practice.
Well, that's also a common issue with a lot of the other courses. A lot of just simply because of the structure of the course, people often get overwhelmed with information over a short period of time and struggle then with retention. So if you go for a sort of a 3 or 4 day course, where the technique and the theory is presented, there simply isn't enough time to assimilate everything. So we've structured the course in such a way just to ensure the sort of best opportunity for learning. So the lessons take place every week over a 12-week period with one lesson a week, allowing attendees then to go through the corresponding training manual or module of the training manual on the online training site. And there's a lot more information provided in the manual that's not covered. There's not enough time in the lessons to cover everything. So, that's very important to go through that after the lesson. And also, the lessons are recorded, which allow attendees to listen to those lessons as many times as needed. Often hearing something just once isn't really enough. And then, aside from all the images included in the training manual on the online training site, we also have additional images, examples of the anomalies that you could encounter in live and dry blood, as well as videos of those anomalies as well. So there's really a lot of resources and a lot of information for attendees to go through. And of course, they have the option to pose their questions to me during the lessons or to send in questions by email. So the course is fully supported, and that's also something that other attendees have commented on, saying that the sort of level of support is a lot better than what they've experienced with other courses.
We also provide the wall charts, which you can see behind Dr. Ocker there, which is very good for
Yes.
referring to.
Yes, absolutely, and it's a great place to start because there are so many different types of anomalies that can be identified in live and dry blood. The wall charts provide the most sort of frequently seen anomalies. So if you get a good sort of handle on those, and if you're able to identify those anomalies, you're able to already start working with live blood analysis and help most people that would come to see you. So it's a great place to start. But yeah, we have information that attendees can go through on the online training site. They're able to log in and go through the course materials there. And we also provide a USB with all the course materials on there for them to access, if they're perhaps offline.
So there's a lot of videos and photographs there to refer to as well, yes?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And also, very importantly, we have videos covering the practical aspects, the actual sampling, how to prepare samples for live and dry blood analysis really it's really crucial in determining, whether you'll have reliable and accurate results with live blood analysis. The sampling procedure is really important, and in a type of classroom situation, what we found is that often while it's being demonstrated, attendees are sort of looking over each other's shoulders, try to sort of see properly, and often miss crucial information. With the videos, it's actually provides the best sort of vantage point, provides the best view, and you're able to see everything that you should be able to see to then take samples correctly. And then also with the use of the microscope, what sort of settings need to be used to view samples in bright field and dark field.
Thank you. And have you updated the materials in the training course in the last 10 years?
Yes, absolutely, we have. So we've added more protocols from practice. We've added a few more anomalies, and then we also have recently included anomalies related to vaccine injury as well. So that is, the course materials are regularly updated when new information becomes available.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions, please put them in the chat box there. So we'll be sending you a recording of this meeting, and we'll also be sending you details about the upcoming training course in April, and also we'll be keeping you updated. And the next training course is Tuesday, April the 7th. And so, as I say, we'll send you all the information and details. So there don't seem to be any more questions. So thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Ocker, for an interesting presentation. What is the format of the training course?
Well, the format basically it runs over 12 weeks. Practitioners can complete it at their own pace as well. So if you're unable to attend the live lessons, you can access the recordings and then work through the course at your own pace. But generally, it runs over 12 weeks with a live lesson taking place every Tuesday. And then attendees can work through the online training materials during that week and catch up with what they need to do. At the end of the 12-week course, attendees are also required to submit a case study showing an actual client, examples of what they saw in the blood, anomalies identified, and of course a specific course of treatment that was decided upon as well. So that is the final requirement then for certification. But attendees have up to a year to submit their case studies. So there is quite a bit of flexibility there to allow for, depending on what your schedule is like.
Thank you. And how long does it take to receive the charts and USB when shipped to Canada?
The course materials will also ship with DHL, so usually 3 to 5 days after it's dispatched.
Okay, thank you. And how long is the lesson on Tuesday?
The lessons are usually an hour. The first lesson often runs over an hour because there's quite a lot of information that we cover and quite a lot of questions as well. So depending on questions from attendees, it may run over an hour, but generally the time allocated for each lesson is at least an hour.
Okay. Thank you. So thank you all very much for joining us. And we look forward to you joining us on a training course soon. We'll send you all the details and we'll keep you informed. So thank you from me and thank you, Dr. Ocker.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.